All right, we're at CryptoBlockCon in Vegas with Ben Marks from Blocktrade Capital. Ben, welcome to Smarterium. Tell us about Blocktrade Capital.
Great, so thank you very much for having me.
Sure.
This is a great conference, and then it's a great crypto news site that you guys have. I like it a lot.
Thank you.
Blocktrade Capital, it's a crypto VC fund. It invests just in crypto projects, live trading on exchanges. It has to have a good product use case. The revenues have to be there. It has to be a team that is very obsessed with their product, very diehard about it. They're going to turn, all the naysayers are going to be, convinced that, the naysayers aren't right. And local projects are good on the West Coast, but, most importantly, there has to be a use case, and then the revenue numbers have to be there, and they have to be increasing.
Okay, sure. So tell us some of the projects that you currently have with Blocktrade Capital.
Sure. So right now I'm most bullish on just the top few coins, Bitcoin and all that. It's been test of time. 10 years. These projects have not gone away at all. They have this core group of supporters. So even though the use case is always changing for Bitcoin, I don't think Bitcoin and the top few coins are going to go anywhere. The top few coins, top 20 to 25 coins, that's what fits into the sort of safe zone, in my opinion. After that, it gets a little riskier. GoChain, I like a lot. They're at the conference here. It's a great team. It's a new project that they're adding on top of their platform every single day. Multiple projects each week. The team operates super fast. They're very diehard. It's only a matter of time. I think they're very undervalued at the moment. It's only a matter of time before that project is going to pop. So that's probably my number one project outside the top 25 that I'm very bullish on.
Okay, and in terms of the actual industry itself, obviously we've seen a lot of layoffs. We've heard about Consensus shrinking their portfolio by something like 40% or something along those lines.
25%.
So 25%. Sure.
Yeah.
What's going on with the industry, and what is that a good thing? What's happening?
Yeah, so layoffs, it's not really a bad thing in my opinion. You hear layoffs and you get kind of worried, but it just basically, it's good, and then it means teams are actually looking ahead and planning with their cash.
Sure.
Okay, we only have this amount of cash to last us 6 months, so not only can we not hire anyone more, maybe we should, cut a few people out. So in an industry like this that has been focused on momentum in the past, and just like what's popular now, and not really forecasting ahead, making a strict plan that they're going to go by, I think layoffs are good. It just means teams are actually planning with their capital and thinking ahead, which is a good quality to have.
Okay. Are you seeing any of your teams having issues hiring people? I mean, obviously with the layoffs, it might be easier. Mm-hmm. Are there? I'm sure there are teams that are actually trying to hire people now. So is that an easy thing at this point?
That's a good question. There's a lot. Teams are always looking to, the big projects like, Coinbase, they're always, looking to hire people. Right. Exchanges are doing well. Teams, what I've seen, they're looking to maybe add one very specific developer who's versed in some language that they don't currently have, or one additional marketing person to supervise the current marketing person.
Right.
So it's very specialized needs. And then they're not really having a problem. There's always people who want to work in blockchain. The only small problem, a lot of the big projects, sometimes the developers, when they hire on, the developers complain they don't quite have a specific plan with what they're going to do. So big companies and crypto companies do still want to hire, and the developers do want to work. We need to just have a little more specific sort of a task that they're going to do. Because sometimes it's just like an open-ended project, and then the developer might get a little bored in the beginning, at least.
Okay. And in terms of the teams or the project itself, what are you actually looking for? What would make Blocktrade Capital want to invest in something? So
that's the $20 million question. There really isn't a good blueprint, or that's what everyone here is trying to figure out. There's no one type of product or type of token. Ultimately, the number one thing would be a company where whatever their token is, as opposed to using regular fiat, for whatever their token is designed for, actually using their token makes the process easier in some way. So that's basically what the fund is looking for right there. Other than that, there's no specific sort of type of industry within blockchain, type of product, and no one has that blueprint. I just look for, the team has to be diehard, obsessed, and then the token use is just made easier with their platform than using regular fiat or something else.
Okay. And in terms of the future for the next, say, year or 2 years, what are you looking for in terms of the projects themselves, the prices, a whole bunch of like the actual technology? What do you see as the future for the next, say, year, 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah, so again, it's tough to, like, top few coins, I think there's going to be some consolidation in the industry. Other projects, a lot of small projects are going to be forgotten. So the industry I'm very bullish on, top few coins. The conference segment within the industry I'm very bullish on. So if there's any conference that's going to have a token or something, that's something I would definitely, this industry is based on energy and people being together. So if there's any conference that was going to do some ICO I'm listening, so that would be good there.
Yeah.
Other than that, obviously a lot of people know the cannabis industry. I'm very bullish on. It's just the level of excitement in that industry from the meetups I've been to reminds me of, crypto was about a year and a half ago and what crypto still is at a great conference like this.
Right.
Other than that, it's really just kind of tough to say what specific sort of products within crypto are going to catch on.
Okay. And in terms of the regulatory aspect for the industry as a whole, where do you see that going, and what's the U.S. regulators' role in that whole situation, I guess?
Yes, that's a good question. It's because it's the regulators, they seem to go back and forth sometimes. Really, when it comes down to it, the regulators are kind of pro crypto and blockchain. They do like it. They like the space the way everyone likes you. Is kind of addicted to the space. They like the people in the space.
Yeah.
So they're very conscious. They don't want to stifle innovation. They don't want to be too, over-regulating that, then companies that have really smart people, they might choose to go in a different industry instead just because of over-regulation fears.
Right.
So I think they're probably just going to kind of keep going the same road. ICOs are always going to have a closer, just be more scrutinized, basically. Any project that does a small ICO or, doesn't really raise that much capital, that's going to be probably safer. They're not going to target that. And then I think with the Ethereum case, what they showed is even if you start as kind of more of a security token, or even if you're in the beginning, maybe it would have been sort of in regulatory gray area. If you stick with your project, you really, innovation really starts happening, and then it shifts away from just being, a security token to a utility token or something that isn't a regulatory gray area. Then, they're smart. They will let your project go on. They want good projects in the space, even if initially maybe there was some regulatory gray area.
Okay, and does Blocktrade Capital like ICOs versus STOs, or does it really not matter as much?
I'm open to both.
Okay.
STOs I want to look into more. I haven't really looked into them that much, but every conference, the buzz is just picking up on them.
Right.
Again, I do think it's just going to be a type of project, whether it's ICO or STO, that catches people's interest. It's not going to really matter. I do like I'm at conferences like this. I see a lot of like lawyers and people like that. So obviously they're going to be promoting STOs because that's more work for them. Than they're in business. They get paid millions of dollars to do an ICO. So it's more of just the type of whatever the product is that's really going to excite people, catch people on. I think probably both ICOs and STOs will go. STOs will become more prevalent. ICOs will definitely not disappear at all.
Okay. Do you see ICOs picking back up in the US?
That's a good question, because I just read the numbers. It went down from 2.5 million, I think, in quarter one that was either in 1 month in quarter one or all of quarter one, to just this month 65 million. So that's a huge decrease right there.
Yeah.
Or I think quarter one it was 2.5 billion, and then for this quarter we're on pace for 65 million. So huge decrease there.
Right.
65 million is still a fairly decent amount. It means the industry is alive. So I don't think ICOs can get any less. I don't think they can be phased out completely. So if anything, the fundraising amounts will stay constant or probably increase, I would have to say, because it's 2.5 billion in a quarter to 65 million. If I know those numbers are correct, it's just the time frame, but that's a huge decrease.
That's a huge decrease.
There's tons of good projects here.
Exactly.
Space, it's more innovation. It's only increasing. So
right, I think it's the crypto prices themselves, the crash in the crypto prices. That's a big driver, obviously, for the decrease in ICOs, along with the reduce or the increase in SEC regulations as far as ICOs are concerned. But anyway, so what are your thoughts around airdrops? Do you like airdrops, or?
It's a good question. Any kind of innovation, anything new in the industry, I like. So that airdrops were a totally radical idea 6 months ago.
Right.
I think a project called Everpedia did the first. So anytime there's something new that catches on, I'm intrigued. Pros and cons. The pros are you have an immediate group of, like fan base. It's retail investors who have your token, so they're forced to use the token. Typically, an airdrop, they only get about $20 worth of a coin on average, but for an 18, 19-year-old in college, that's a good amount of money.
Yeah,
and then even if you're going to cash out your $20 worth of that token, in the process, you have to learn how to use the token, you have to learn how to cash it out.
Right.
So you get some experience. So I think in that sense, it's good. It creates sort of a downflow in terms of selling in the months afterwards, because always some of the airdrop people are going to be sporadically selling out. So you get, the pros are you get a huge, just kind of fan base initially, people using your coin. The con is you always have to work against them gradually selling off as the months go by. Pros and cons.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talking about the user adoption and those kind of things, obviously just general adoption of blockchain projects is a bit more of a challenge right now. Do you see any of your projects that you have in your portfolio having that kind of a challenge, or how are they dealing with that? Are they making the UI UX better? What are some of the things that you've seen?
Like Everpedia, for example, they actually have pretty good user adoption. They're sort of like a Wikipedia for the blockchain, with very specific kind of targeted articles that are very interesting. Some crypto-related articles, some sort of left-wing causes. So it's just Wikipedia is great, it's very broad. So this is a narrower sort of blockchain version of crypto. So that helps the industry. It disseminates more information about good projects, good people in the industry, and their traffic stats are pretty good. It's kind of increasing. I checked the Alexa traffic stats, so it went up in the beginning, then it went down, then I think it's kind of leveling off. So that it's gaining a following in terms of that. Obviously, challenge they have, like a lot of other, token price is a separate issue.
Right.
Projects how to make money. So it's two. You have to always be working on adoption, and then also revenues or getting token price or whatever. Just simply because if you don't focus on the latter, your project has the potential to run out of money. Everpedia they raised $30 million, 6 months ago.
Yeah.
But so you always have to be working on those two separately. Just having adoption isn't enough, as we're seeing some decent projects, not that, but other ones are kind of going by the wayside just because they have no more money. So.
Okay, all right. Well, Ben, I'm sure you have a lot of things to do. Where can we find more information about Blocktrade Capital?
Great. So yeah, anyone can email me, ben@blocktradecapital.com. Website, blocktradecapital.com. I'm on LinkedIn as well, and mostly just conferences. One conference every month, and that will be going, as long as I will be in the space. I love conferences. Bitcoin Miami, I'll be there. This conference in April, the LA one, CryptoBlockCon, I'm definitely going to be going there. I like the space a lot. So yeah, that's where you can find me, online and at a conference.
And any kind of projects can approach you. You don't have any specific industry. You mentioned earlier there's nothing specific that you're looking for. Anybody in this space can approach you for your services.
Anyone can approach me, obviously, in this bear market. I'm very cautious, the way every other fund is, on the investing.
No doubt.
I love hearing about new projects. I love talking about them. In this bear market, it's obviously I'm being cautious, but any type of project can approach me.
All right, sounds good.
Great. Okay.
All right,
Thank you very much, Mahesh.
Thanks, Ben.
Great. Okay.
This was great.